All right, we're at 401 North Market Street. I'm with T. Demarco. That's how you are?
That's my on my books and my podcast is T. Demarco Harris.
T. Demarco Harris.
Long story for the T, but I'll explain to you one day.
I like it. Okay, yeah, we will chat about that one day. You are a life business coach.
Life coach.
And you come from with a Christian background, right?
Go.
So a basis of Christian values,
right?
I would imagine.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you help people who might just be stuck in one way or shape or form.
Right.
In personal and business or anywhere, just life in general.
Just life in general. Right.
Okay.
Right.
How do people get to you, at what point are they coming to you? Do they decide, I need somebody else's help with this?
Interesting to put that. Matter of fact, I got a phone call the other day, and it was a friend of mine who was a lady I worked with, who was taking care of my mother when she was in a nursing home. She got to the point, it was just by accident, and we was talking, and she said, "So what are you doing now, Tony?" I said, "Well, I'm a life coach now." And she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah. We need to talk." I mean, it's just that was that beautiful. We need to talk. I said, "Okay, what's going on?" I'm getting ready to start my business. I really need some help. I'm stuck here, but I need some Christian aspect of it, the spirituality. I said, "Okay, well, let's it's been great." And like I told before, I work with Dr. Rollins in the Whole Heart Life Center, and I get clients from her. She'll look at a person. They do a lot of screening with the people first, and make a determination. Oh, Tony will be my T stands for Tony.
Tony, gotcha. Oh, but, Dr. Rollins calls you Tony.
Yeah, right.
There we go.
There you go. So that's why the reason came out.
That's right.
But so I get a client from them, because I'm on her staff in a sense. So because I signed a contract with her, so that's working out well. But a lot of it's by word of mouth, and so folks hear what I'm doing, realizing that I'm in that same situation.
Yeah.
I need some help. And sometimes it's just being a sounding board, just being there. It's amazing what your presence in somebody's life can do.
Oh.
Just being there for somebody, 100%. And sometimes, like I told you, it's an 80-20. I'm listening. The client's 20 is talking 80% of the time. I'm only talking about 20.
Right.
But in the midst of that, they're saying so much, and I'm listening, and sometimes I write stuff down. But maybe I just want to make sure I respond correctly to what their needs are.
Yeah, I think a lot when you let people talk, and this is, I'm in sales, so that's a great sales technique, right? People will give you so much information.
Oh my goodness,
you got to just know what information you're looking for that you need to help them. But yeah it's very, and as I said to you before, as a solopreneur, we don't get a lot of people to bounce ideas off of who are objective,
right,
and can give us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. And either to motivate or redirect or whatever that is. So yeah, I can find that. I imagine that's very valuable.
Yeah, what I found is I called it the plateau syndrome. You climb that mountain, and then you get to the plateau, and some folks get very comfortable at the plateau. They just want to stay there. Everything's good. I'm not at the top of the mountain. I'm not at the bottom of the mountain. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm good right here. Family's good. But some folks get there, and they have this desire. They know they want to move forward. They just don't know how sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
They just don't know how to put it all together.
Yeah.
And I tell folks, well, you got this far. What got you this far? And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And then look, I said, what's your goals? And we'll talk about that. So what changed? And they start thinking about, well, maybe, they'll maybe my education or something like that, I'm not qualified. Why do you say that? And so I try to bring all that out of that person, make them realize, why do you feel this way?
Yeah.
Because if you got this far and you really want to move forward, then like you would say before, at the same thing I tell folks, you just got to move forward. But sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
They see a wall. And sometimes it's because people may share with them, well, you've done good. Why do you want to go any further? I'll give you a good example. T. Demarco Harris. I'll be 70 this year, but I'm going back to get my doctorate.
Are you?
Yes.
Congratulations.
And so I'm looking at that, and I can see my friends now. Dude, you doing what?
Wow.
You want to go back and do what?
Yeah.
But it's that desire again for me.
Yeah. The desire, you spent 40 years protecting us by serving in the military. and all these little sections of that 40-year, you just kept going back and doing more and doing different.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that you're going to go get your doctorate.
Yeah, this basically birthed out of COVID too. I did my first podcast on I called it Higher Learning.
Yeah.
I do it every Wednesday at noon. And what happened was when everything closed down, to include the church, I'm sitting going, okay, God, what now? I'm not preaching anywhere, I'm not teaching anywhere. What do I do now?
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was talking about podcasts, and I said, you know what? I can do that. I know training, yeah. But I shouldn't say no training. But long time ago,
Yeah.
in a place called Catonsville, Maryland, I went to Catonsville Community College,
Okay.
and I was a DJ on WCCN 560 on the radio dial.
I love it.
AM radio.
I love it.
It was great. Had a good
Yeah.
time. Only thing about it, I spent more time in the studio than in school.
Yeah.
So I realized, okay, school was not for me.
Right,
So
yeah.
then I joined the Army. So.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And it's funny how stuff comes back, right?
So comes
It
back.
comes back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
comes back.
Comes back. So now I'm doing this. I do it every Wednesday at noon. It's called Higher Learning. I've got about 1,800 followers right now.
Very nice.
Yeah, not bad.
That's
Not
excellent.
bad.
That's excellent.
Trying to get my 2,000.
I love it. I know. I know. We're scrambling all the time for
Right.
likes and followers and shares and support.
Exactly.
Okay, so how can people come find you? Where can they go?
TDHM/LLC.com.
Okay.
And what happens is everything's there.
Yeah.
You can schedule.
Nice.
You can get access to my podcast, get access to my books,
Okay.
and everything's right there. So it's a one-stop shop. You can go there, you can look at all the things
Love
I'm
it.
doing, click on it. Oh, okay, he's got a podcast going. Oh, he got
Yeah.
the books, okay. And you can schedule. Any of the prices there too.
Awesome.
All of them right there.
Now, for people watching right now, where are they in their journey where it would be good to reach out to somebody like you to get kind of that help that they need?
Okay, good, very good question. If you're at a point, whereas you had a great plan, and remember, I'll use the client today, great plan, great ideas, but they just don't know how to take it any further. They're looking at it and say, okay, this makes sense, but it don't make sense. They're wrestling with their own selves.
Right.
They don't realize that there is the truth is there.
Yeah.
But you just got to, first of all, believe in yourself. I'm a true believer that, there's a sense of confidence that we should have. The Bible says that we have confidence, one thing, that he that began a good work in us will perform it till the coming of Christ. Meaning that God is doing a great work in us. I also believe that there's a work that he has placed in the, and if you're not a believer, I believe there's a work in all of us.
Yeah.
So that's why I can talk to the believers and I can talk to the non-believers. Yeah. It's all the same as far as I'm concerned, because everybody's trying to get somewhere.
Right.
Everybody's got goals, but many times those goals have been interrupted because somebody said you can't do it.
Yeah.
I've had that happen to me before. Oh, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And they believe it,
Yeah.
even though they're qualified.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to a good friend of mine who we went to school together, of imposter syndrome. Somebody's telling them that they don't feel that they're qualified, even though all the qualifications are there.
Yeah.
They've gone to school, they have the experience, but for some reason there's something in there.
Let that in.
They let that in.
Yeah.
It's like a little piece of darkness that comes in.
And they've let that seed grow.
And let that seed grow.
Yeah.
And because of that, then they're finding themselves all confused, upset. And I'm trying to get to them before they get depressed.
Yeah.
Because once they get depressed, I'll pass them on to a counselor or something like
Right.
that. Or to a therapist. That's why I said before, I enjoy working with Dr. Rollins. Something happens, I can pass it on. But I try to catch folks before that happens.
Yeah.
Let me just talk to you.
Yeah.
Let's just have a conversation. Just have a conversation like we are right now. Just sit down and talk.
Yep.
And you'd be surprised. People start crying
I bet.
because somebody
He's listening.
is listening.
Is listening to
It's
them.
listening.
Yeah.
Somebody is actually listening to me right
Yeah.
now. Somebody actually cares.
Yeah.
Makes all the difference in the world.
It sure does.
It really does. And so it gives me a sense of joy.
Yeah. Well,
know,
that's good. Well,
yeah.
we know you got a lot of great things coming. Can't wait to celebrate when you get your doctorate. We're going to be right there with you. I guarantee it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we got Demarco Harris. You can find him. We'll make sure all the details are on the screen for you. If you're stuck in anything, any decisions, big decisions, small decisions, just in life, reach out. He can help for sure, get you over that hump.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It was a pleasure to meet you. Really
Truly,
was.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We thank you guys for watching.